Welcome to episode 71 of Winging It. Where's your torches gone? Where's your torches gone? Great night at the Emirates last night that we'll get into in a little bit. Hesketh, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoyed it last night.
We did.
Abandoned me and Albert though, didn't me and Albert waiting for you in one pub and you decided to ditch us for another.
Yeah, and you'll be sorry to hear that I just had a normal lager.
Shocker.
Sorry.
Albert came to the brew house, Carl. Thank you for standing in yet again for the absentee.
Albert who?
Yeah, exactly. He came to the brew house. His first question was, do they do normal beer? Define normal beer. Actually, Albert would be very proud of me tonight because I've just got Julian Peroni.
Wow.
It's leftovers from my daughter's birthday party. Just to be clear, the 5-year-olds were not drinking the beer.
Yeah, she didn't fancy them all.
Best party ever, Dad.
Vomit all over the bouncy castle after they're all two Peronis deep. No, so they're just leftovers. So I've got to work my way through them. And saying that, after the 5 tropical IPAs that I had in the brew house last night, a lighter Peroni is probably going to do me well. What are you drinking, Carl?
I've got a Vault City, so Edinburgh's Forest Brewery. I'm on a sour, raspberry, strawberry, coconut, 6%. Talking about pubs, I went to World's End, Finsbury Park last night. Pint of Guinness, pint of Asahi, a Disaronno and Coke, and I got a tropical. £33.50. £33.50.
Jeez.
North London. Get out of it. North. Yes. I'm on the cans now. Can't afford anything else.
Yeah, it's not quite Parsons Green level for Fulham and Chelsea, but it's getting up there. Jeez. Blooming heck. I'm making some savings on FA Cup semi-final day, which I'll let you know a bit later down the piece. But first up, we're going to talk about Bournemouth for what there is to talk about, given that it was the most boring of 0-0s pretty much for the entire 90 minutes, give or take a few minutes here or there. But, Carl, you might be able to help because out of all of us, you're the most ancient.
Wow, thanks for coming, Carl.
Experienced.
Experience. That's a good way of putting it. Elvis at the start. Now...
No, I don't know. We all looked around.
So apparently some older Palace heads on Twitter were suggesting that this did used to be played before kickoff, way back when.
Oh, I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Does that mean we're getting Americanos next week?
Well, I mean, I looked Elvis up after that because I was like, what the fuck are we playing Elvis for? And obviously, we're playing him. He must have been a Palace fan, right? And when I looked him up, he died on the 14th of August, 1978, I think it was, or 77. And that day, we beat Brentford 5-1. So I reckon he was sitting on the toilet scrolling on his phone when the 5th went in, and his heart just gave out, and that was it. Couldn't believe we scored 5. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd know.
No.
Yeah.
Obviously, as a song, that definitely used to be a song we used to sing, slightly faster. But yeah, I don't ever remember it being played. But yeah.
Well, maybe that's what they was actually talking about then. Maybe that was just more reference towards a song being played. But yeah, just testing out that new sound system that I've put in. I've got to get the most use out of it. So
I was rather happy the speakers had been turned down at least one notch for when the first bars of Wise Men Say came on.
Yeah, they definitely got the volume a bit better this time round. It was definitely a bit too loud in the previous home game. So, yet again, in a game that we played that is refereed by Samuel Barrett, he takes over the game in quite spectacular fashion yet again. For those who don't know, he was the referee that disallowed Ebbs' goal on the opening day of the season against Brentford. He was also the referee when we beat Villa 4-1, but before we run away with that game, he was fucking awful in that as well. So he's definitely got history. And I think if you remember as well, when we lost 2-1 to Everton at home last season, he was the ref in that game, also had zero control of that game as well. So, yeah. But someone's been at his Wikipedia. And
I saw this.
And I think it's just still like it. I checked it before we came on. It says Samuel Barrett, born 92 or 93, is somehow an English professional football referee who has primarily officiated in the Premier League since 2024. Blah, blah. Early life. Barrett was born in Brighton and is a former season ticket holder at Brighton Hove Albion. Yeah. No, every now and then you go on Wikipedia, you keep getting those appeals for money, like, please give us money, otherwise we're going to fold. They've clearly lost all their editors because this now had been in place for over a week. What did you make of his performance, Hesketh?
I'm glad we got the explicit tag on these podcasts because there's no way I can't say it was fucking terrible. Awful. I mean, it's one of those where you say, you know, you can look at a game and you say the referee's just lost control. And a lot of the time that's because no one gets booked and it gets progressively worse. But like the inconsistencies, which we'll obviously talk about with the sending off, just absolutely baffled me. You know, even to the point where there were fouls there's a foul by Will Hughes. I'm like, normally I don't think that's a booking, but in this game that should be a booking. But he's not booked him. You know, it sort of was a bit of a coin flip. He just sort of made it up as he went along, didn't he?
Yes, he did indeed, and it all started rather innocuously. Like you think about the week before or the last home game when we played Brighton. The referee clearly didn't want to book people early doors because it was two rivals playing each other, all of that business. So I didn't want to book people early, but then kind of at the time it felt like he went crazy. But when you look back, he probably got the decisions arguably wrong because they should have been straight reds, as we discussed on the pod after. But this time he just didn't care about getting the card out early, and you thought he was probably making a rod for his own back. But then you feel like sense prevails, Carl, when he decides not to book Adam Smith for Sarr. He's probably at that time. I'm thinking he's gone. I can't send him off for 2 fouls in the first half, even though both of them are yellows. And that's the way you're thinking he's thinking, right?
Yeah, look, I think if you're writing your notes down as you go through the game, I think after that you write down sensible refereeing, last warning. That's it. But that's the precedent set, isn't it? From here on in, the dialogue we're going to have is going to be really difficult because we're going to try and have a rational conversation about a referee who has made a series of irrational decisions from there on in. He is either absolutely corrupt, and I'm assuming he's not, and he's not from Brighton, is he? So he's not, there's not a bias there. He's either corrupt or absolutely fucking useless. I'm assuming it's the latter, but bloody hell. I mean, to your point, because it looks like the right decision is made not to send Smith off. You go, all right, fair enough. It's too soon in the game. But that's your warning. But that's the precedent set. Everybody gets that then. Well, not if you're wearing red and blue.
And it's just not much later. Chris Richards is sent off for a tender hand rub on Patrick Kluivert as he runs past him. And and it was, I think what got him sent off was Kluivert. And as the game went on, you started to realise Bournemouth, very cynical, constantly nagging in the ref's ear, moaning all over the place about every single decision, constantly over at him. And Kluivert was just looking for it and immediately jumped in the ref. And I feel like he'd probably has queued him up to be like, look out, he's all over me going down that side. Yeah. And when I was in real time, I thought Richards has been stupid there, like, because it looked like he must have had a pull on his shirt or something. But then when you actually see it back, you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. The foul on Sarr that wasn't given the second booking, to me, is a yellow card. But like Carl said, all right, if we're given final warnings, fair enough. For Richards not to get a final warning before you've even seen that the foul is him stroking his pinky finger on someone, it is absolutely mad. But like you say, Kluivert rolled around, and then as soon as he'd finished his little tumble, he jumped straight up and was legging it towards the ref. And definitely, I mean, that must have had a bearing on it. But then even in the second half, he pulls Sarr's shorts down, and you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? And like the picture, well, I'm sure we've all seen it. There's a picture of Sarr with his shorts still down round his knees, just looking at the ref, just like, what's going on? And the fact that Sarr ended up at the end of that with a booking himself is absolutely insane. But yeah, when you look back at the Richards foul that he got sent off for, I mean, it's not even a foul, is it? It's just not. And the ref then goes against his own precedent by showing even less common sense in sending Richards off. It's something we're used to now. I feel like every home game, it's weird if we end with 11 men. But yeah, I mean, and then he continued it in the second half. So when you hope, he's going to look at it at half time and be like, oh shit, I've loused that up a bit. Maybe I'll need to even it up. Adams hacks down Will Hughes whilst on a booking, gives the foul, no sending off. So at that point, you know, you're fighting a losing battle big time.
Yeah, I wonder if the referee thought, I wonder why Bournemouth have hooked Adam Smith at half time. And I wonder why they've hooked Tyler Adams immediately after I haven't booked it. It was Arsene Wenger set the precedent for this, didn't he, Carl?
Yeah.
All those years ago. What was that little defensive midfielder's name?
Yeah, it starts with Odin. I can't think who it was, but yeah, literally foul. Another foul. No, Spanish was. Oh God,
yes.
Yeah. All right.
It'll come to us. I think he's playing in Spain now, maybe. Yeah.
About the third foul of the final.
Coquelin.
That was it. Final warning. He was getting the lecture. The board was coming up, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ridiculous. But in terms of, it's I think the important thing about Kluivert putting his shorts down is, do you think he's been booked, Carl, because he's wearing tighty whities?
Oh, I think that's it. I mean, I think it's the yellow card offence. When you said he got booked for it, I thought, what's it, strip club or whatever? He's got sessions down the...
Yeah, the ref
decent exposure.
He just wanted to come and put the yellow card down his pants, like he was tipping him.
That's a dirty tackle.
But then it's, you know, all the Bournemouth players come rolling over and calls a kickoff basically, which then ends up getting Sarr booked as well as Kluivert. Yeah, just utterly ridiculous. And I think they brought off 3 players on yellow cards throughout that game, Bournemouth, in terms of just protecting against the ref. Maybe that's where we were stupid. We should have hooked Richards as soon as he was booked. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Never learning. But other than that, we went down to 9 men after playing the entire second half, and Carl, they never looked like unlocking us. And I thought Bournemouth played with 11v11. They had more of the ball. They were on top, but without ever looking like they were going to score.
Yeah, I'm not sure the sending off helped them. I thought they were the better team. I thought actually they're really good. They kept hold of the ball. They made the pitch wide, even the first half 11v11. And if you'd asked me honestly, I thought it's only a matter of time before they score. Now, you never know. You might get one, and that goals change games and all of that. The moment we went down to 10, I actually felt really confident. It stopped us pressing. It probably meant we were never going to win the game, but I never actually felt like they were ever going to score. And they never manoeuvred us out of position. And it's not like Dino was, you know, diving all over the place, making world class saves. They were having pops from distance.
Yeah, and that's all it was. And I think it was summed up right at the end when Semenyo cut inside and nearly hit the corner flag whilst trying to bend it in the far corner. So, so see now, again, 2 games in a row at home, not ending with the full complement of players on the pitch. Hopefully we'll get better at that. But it's a game that 25,000 people have paid to go and watch, and the referee has basically ruined it as a spectacle from early doors. And as you say, not just for us, for Bournemouth as well, because 11v11, when we're having a go, they were looking fairly decent, and just ruined the game. And probably why I think where we all respected the point in that sense, where it's just like, take it, clean sheet, especially after the back-to-back 5s away from home.
Yeah.
So talking referees and those back-to-back 5s. So was a little surprised to walk into a pub in Newcastle, looked around and you see a few Palace faces I'm meeting up with for a beer, and in there's Michael Oliver boozing. He's a Geordie fan. He's there boozing before the game.
Is he still a ref?
Yeah, he's doing the semi-final, isn't he? Not ours.
Not our one, is he?
Not ours.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Surely Darren England did get rolled out for the final. Was he, or is he ref one recently? I think he might have done one already. That'll be worth checking. Oh, we're not in the final yet. Stop thinking about it. Mrs. asked me, what do you think about going away for this week in October? Found myself checking the Europa League fixture weeks. She was like, are you in Europe? I was like, not yet, darling, not yet. But no, if we are, either side of that, probably Budapest, don't know, somewhere like that. Sorry. Sam, bring me back down to earth.
2-0 Villa.
There we go. Got it out. Right, but then we move on to Wednesday night at Arsenal. Already obviously been on the end of 5 against Arsenal this season at Selhurst. Already lost at their place in the League Cup. Going there expecting... I don't know what to expect, really. I was expecting far weaker sides from both teams. Were you surprised, Hesketh, at our lineup? And you sort of knew from the day before from Glasner's presser that it was likely to be a much stronger Palace side than we expected?
Yeah, the defence was as I expected. I think he just doesn't really want to rotate that too much. Obviously, Lerma in for Richards. Hi guys, Chile here. Poor old Chile's been ill, so we knew Chile was out. Midfield wise, I didn't really know, and I think we knew Nketiah was going to start. Midfield wise, I didn't know. Didn't mind the team though. Actually, that I think Devaney's shown that he's got a lot of good energy, and it'd be useful to him to get more of a run out. Kamada's been a lot better of late, so I quite liked it. All that being said, obviously I wasn't at all expectant of getting a positive result. Just really wanted to not let in 5 goals and get a hammer in. A, because that's happened too often, and B, because obviously the fucking cup games on Saturday, and it's not a good way to kick into that. 3 minutes in, however, I was feeling like it might be 5.
Well, before we get to that, in terms of lineup and players who played across the 90, Carl, it's another game where you would expected Lerma. You'd expect our young Brazilian Mateus França to get some minutes, and it's not materialised, and it's been Esse who's got the minutes across the last couple of appearances. Yeah,
it's a real... it was actually literally a talking point as you saw him stripping down and going, well, if he's coming on, França isn't coming on. And if you think... I mean, it's clearly got something to do with what Glasner's seeing in training, because França, as far as I'm aware, remember, his last introduction on the pitch was at Southampton, and quite clearly a contribution there. He's clearly fit because he's on the bench. But yeah, he's choosing to go with Esse. But that's the second time. It was Esse Bournemouth he came on.
Newcastle, I think he came on against Newcastle.
So he's clearly... Look, I'm glad Esse's getting minutes, but I was really surprised França didn't get time. Really surprised. I didn't expect to see Sarr come on. I knew he was on the bench. My expectation was we'd probably see França and Esse come on, but clearly Esse slightly higher up the pecking order.
Well, he talked about wanting to keep Sarr in his rhythm, didn't he? To just give him those minutes to just make sure he's still like sharp for Saturday, effectively. And he talked a lot about it, Glasner, mistakes he made previously in his career prior to a big cup game or something like that, or they played in an earlier cup round. They were playing a non-league side or a lower division side, and they basically rested the entire team because they had a top of the table clash on the weekend. And he was just like, it just ruined the whole like rhythm of everything around the club. And he's like, I'm not going to make that mistake again. And yeah, these are finely tuned athletic machines, so they should be able to do it, you'd imagine. If only we could all have the lungs of Daniel Munoz. I would have made it if I had these legs and these lungs.
I don't know what he's taking. Shut up, Justin. Shut up.
But yeah, as you've already pointed out, Hesketh, the game starts so well. It's just what we was looking for. Keep it tight early doors. Didn't quite materialise. And watching it back, it was interesting that was it Kivior?
Yeah.
Kivior. They say it's a great header from the pole. I was like, he might as well have been a fucking actual pole for how much we paid attention to him. And Carl, it was just a queue up at the back post and all have a little trundle across, and that's that. But a bit more of that Arsenal blocking involved as well.
That was it. You saw it at the near. I forget who it is. Right in our right back position, right in the front of that screening. He's gone to ground. Whoever that is, can't remember what it was. Nketiah and Kamada. I've not watched it back, but remember at the time looking at it, just being 2 paces behind, everybody's gone bundling towards the back post and just left him completely free. I mean, it's poor, really poor.
Timber gets a really good early block off against Gay and just prevents Gay getting across, and then Gay's all of a sudden a bit sandwiched out, and by that point he's behind Nketiah, and Nketiah's just not, he's ball watching, he's just not followed in at all. And you wonder if Mateta might have dealt with it a little bit differently because he's a bit more savvy as a defender, I guess, and does a good job in there. But yeah, I mean, it's a good header. Still has to put it away, but yeah, if you're a professional footballer in the Premier League and you've got no one within 5 yards of you, it's pretty much as on a plate as it can be for a centre back and a goal scoring chance, and he's put it away well. But not behind for long, Hesketh, and only score an absolute worldie to level it up.
Yeah, and actually after they'd scored, I thought we actually did all right. We didn't sort of go into our shell or panic, which is something else I was a bit worried about after that Newcastle game, that conceding the first goal would turn us to sort of jelly. But we still looked positive, and Kamada sort of pressured them into conceding a corner, and obviously a training ground routine that Glasner said hadn't been working on the training ground. So I'm glad that we did it anyway. Lovely, like a lovely ping from Wharton, and unbelievable technique from Eze. As bad as his penalty was, technique-wise, this was as good. From where we were stood, obviously, we saw him hit it, and then it disappeared for a bit, hit the post and went in. So there was a bit of a delayed reaction where we were trying to figure out if it hit someone on the arse and went the other way. But yeah, watching it back, absolutely unbelievable technique. I suppose from the Arsenal side of things, you wonder why Eze, a bit like their Kivior, why is Eze stood completely on his own on the edge of the box. But yeah, the technique was superb, and it was a good little bundled.
Yeah, and Carl, I've got a lot of there's a lot of love for Glasner on the podcast this week. There's more to come. But again, after the game, he talked about, was it after the game? I can't remember what he talked. He talked about they're great at set pieces, we're great at set pieces. Let's kind of challenge them.
Yeah.
So they score from an early set piece, and he's already bred into them that it's like, we're going toe to toe with them for set pieces because we're 1 and 2 in the league, and he's inspired that challenge out of them to the extent that they've tried one that hasn't worked in training and they've scored. So, got to love his mindset, Glasner, haven't you?
Yeah, look, absolutely. And look, so I think that's 16 each from the set pieces, so we're still 1 and 2. I'm also wondering if Glasner is the chess player, and that corner's so distinctively different to everything we do. And I don't think it's any coincidence we did it against Arsenal and not against Newcastle. That'd be fresh in Villa's mind. So now they're going to not be leaving the top of the penalty area free, which leaves other spaces somewhere else in the penalty area to help us at Wembley. So I don't think it's any coincidence. He probably wasn't expecting us to score from him because it hadn't worked, but he was hoping it would be close enough that Villa would have to worry about it. And actually, it's even better than that. It's gone in and Villa will be all over that.
Yeah, a bit like in American football where you run to open up the passing game. It's kind of like that. And it's, again, it's near post, almost all the time. And then all of a sudden, back post, Munoz in the second half headers it across, and I don't know how it didn't go in. But we're very, very smart with it. And it also helps having, you think we've had Eze and Elise, and you've seen what Elise can do with his left foot, but little old Will Hughes and Adam Wharton are just like consistently beating the near post man in the perfect fashion and just causing so many problems from those set pieces.
And I know we're going to jump. I'm jumping us in halves here, but also Kamada in front of us in the second half. He's put one about the whole of the front, the 2 screens at the front for one of their corners. Both went up swinging their head, thinking they've got it. Both missed it because it glided over them by about 2 inches. I can't remember who it was we had coming in behind. I mean, that's before the Munoz one. We've got 3 or 4 in there who, if we, obviously they're not all on the pitch at the same time, but can all deliver a ball. And I mean, there was every bit as good as Declan Rice's contribution from set pieces.
Talking of set pieces, as the kids say, I've seen the script. The first goal from a long throw is happening on Saturday. It's happening.
For Palace, hopefully.
For Palace, yes.
All right, good.
They're making a comeback though, aren't they? But we've got 2 people who launch it after learning that Chris Richards knows how as well. So
I don't know if I mentioned this in the pod. I definitely mentioned it at the game the other day. It seems like every game of football I watch at the moment, there's a long throw. Every team just does a long throw. It's got to come off at some point. I'll take it if it's a semi-final team.
Indeed. Go on, Carl.
No, I was going to say, we talked about actually, going a goal down and reacting really well. I thought we were brave, creative, courageous. There was none. This wasn't about us keeping the ball for the sake of keeping the ball. We looked to be transition every time forward. I thought it was I'd reached the conclusion beforehand we were going to get thumped. At 1-0 down after 3 minutes, I'm definitely thinking we're going to get thumped. 15 minutes in, I'm thinking, well, if we go lose this, actually, I'm actually excited for what I'm seeing. This was a really brave performance, and that was like 15, 20. The mental note in my head at the time before we equalised is, we are really trying to play the right way, really exciting. And it's been a little bit of a while since we've had that.
Yeah, definitely. We've not, since we smashed Fulham up in the quarter-final, it's been a little bit more disjointed. And this was the first examples of it looking all seamless again. And, we'd seen a lot in recent weeks of our short, snappy passes and so on, just not quite landing right, not quite being controlled right, and all. It was just all a little bit off. But it was definitely looking a lot slicker, and kind of shows that when we get the big switch from Lerma Hesketh to put Ebbs away down the left and pulls it out the air again, finds Nketiah beautiful, and once he drops his shoulder and turns, you think the net's going to bulge.
You do think the net's going to bulge, and it was a brilliant block by the defender, to be fair, because as soon as Nketiah had brought it down, everything was just set up for him to just lash it in. But again, like Cole said, we won the ball there, and the instinct was get it forward, get it moving, switch the play. Lovely play from Ebbs as well to bring it down and sort of knock it over to Nketiah. And I don't think if we'd have gone 2-1 up, it would have been too harsh on the home team. because we like I said, we'd been very positive with the ball. It was good to watch, and even when we eventually did go 2-1 down, you're thinking, well, we're not overawed. We're not looking like we've sort of given up, or we're nervous, or we're holding ourselves in for the Saturday. And it would have been great for Nketiah and his confidence if he'd have got that in. But like I say, it was a really, really good block, I thought, from the centre back.
Yeah, it was indeed. I think Raya might have saved it as well, even if the block doesn't go in. But yeah, you see how much it means to Nketiah. I think he would love to have scored there again. I would have loved for him to get off the pitch a bit fucking quicker when we were 2-1 down. He was getting subs.
Yeah, you and me both.
But we do go 2-1 down, and it was a shame really, because we'd been playing so well. But it's actually like a nice little goal from Arsenal in terms of the way he pings it in really quickly to Trossard, who just kills it dead. Lovely drop of the shoulder. He gets lucky with a finish because it takes a deflection, but. The best answer to us singing Trossard's a cunt, Carl.
Yeah. Look, I thought, and look, unlike, I get the feeling if Ben White had scored that, he's running right over, doing the knee slide and giving it the big un. He just put his hand to his ear, didn't he, to make sure he'd heard the song and you can have it back. I actually thought, I don't like saying it, I actually thought he was possibly Arsenal's bet. I really, really like Timber. That's the first time I can really remember seeing Timber and getting a good view. I thought he was excellent. Declan Rice is definitely a Rolls Royce who's getting better. But actually, it pays me to say, actually, Trossard looked really, really good. He was a bit of a bloody handful. It's the way he drops off the front person to give him the defender to give himself the extra yard. And yeah, I heard him interviewed after the Ipswich game saying he looks to aim to shoot between players' legs, and that's clearly what he was trying. I think it was the heel of Lerma or the heel of somebody anyway that it clipped, and into the corner it flies. Well,
yeah, he's allowed the extra yard as well, because it's not just a yard by dropping off, it's his first touch, which then gives him another yard on top. Like he's just very, very good on the ball, very good technically. And but I think he's just a bit probably not consistent enough, maybe, like in and out, like drops in and out of form a bit. But I think for the last few games for Arsenal, especially if FPL's anything to go by, he's been racking up the points in the last couple of weeks, that's for sure.
Well,
another boat I missed.
I think he probably struggles for where does he naturally play in that Arsenal team in that shape, and at the moment the answer is they haven't got a centre forward, so there's a space for him. But he's not Saka and he's not Martinelli, is he? From a out and out pace or a width perspective.
Yeah, it's a fair point. So we go in at half time, 2-1 down. Second half starts. Same again. We were having a go. We're definitely not like, it's not towers between the legs or anything. But then Arsenal have a chance and score. Well, Martinelli scores when the ball's sort of cut back, and it's a weird scenario, Hesketh, because the lino's flagged for offside, which ultimately we find out he's not offside. But it already flagged for offside, which is weird, right? They're supposed to, in those scenarios, you're supposed to be holding it down. And they'd already done it in the first half to us as well. Flagging, I can't remember who it was, getting away down the right. And it goes out, like it clearly goes out of play when you look back, like quite clearly. Like even having to look through the net, you can see clearly that the whole ball's over the line. 3-4 minutes, just... Why not?
And you can often tell from the reactions of the players, where I think you could tell the Arsenal players knew. Henderson was adamant to the ref that had gone out. You could see him gesticulating, and we was up the other end of the pitch, and you could see that. And like you said, I mean, I saw it. I didn't see it back till this morning, but it's very clearly off, out of play rather. So. Like the longer it went on during the game, I was like, they're going to give it. I don't know why it's taken this long. The longer it goes on, the more sure I am that they're going to give a goal, which will piss me off. But then when you see the still, it's like it's a bit like the penalty on Richards in Newcastle. It's like you only need to look at it once. It's pretty obvious, Thankfully, the correct decision prevailed and it wasn't given. But for it to take that long is pretty bananas.
Yeah, my thought, all of that, I totally agree with. I had somebody just behind me who went, it's definitely onside. They've picked up on TV. It's definitely onside. So we've instantly flipped to, well, maybe the ball's gone out of play. And the natural reaction is this going to be a bit like the Everton one? Actually, he's not given it as out of play. They can't definitively say it's out of play because the ball's in the air. We're going to go with the on-field decision, and the on-field decision is it hasn't gone out of play. It's like shit. We actually going to get done from a bit of stupidity here, and that could be, for me, the only reason why it took so long was that a part of the decision making. Could they actually definitively prove it? But your eyes are telling you it's out.
Yeah. Well, it was. I do wonder if they had to draw the lines first. So obviously that took a little bit. So maybe draw lines. Maybe, don't know. Didn't watch the live coverage, obviously, being at the game. But yeah, I think you need to just look at that still once. As soon as they get the pulls on it, I think that's all you need to look at, and just play on. But it's also the linesman's flag's gone up, right? I know you play to the whistle and all that, but Dean Henderson would have 100% have seen it go up. I'm sure other Palace defenders would have seen it go up. But again, like, why has it gone up? Why have you put a flag up? Like, especially if it's onside as well, it should have been far too tight for you to be putting your flag up.
Yeah.
Bizarre. His surname was Scholes, by the way, that linesman. So, I don't know. Son of? Brother of? No. We're then... still looking like team. We've had the Munoz one we've already talked about from the corner that goes across the face of goal and somehow doesn't go in. And then, Carl, we have Justin Devaney on his bonds getting a really good chance to level it up.
Yeah, and you get a feeling first if it's your first league start and it's up at Villa and you're just probably in a slightly different mind. You take that, don't you? And he's Glasner clearly trusts him, and you could see, if anybody asked the question, I don't understand what he brings to Crystal Palace. Then Bliminek, the amount of pressing he did for us, which you probably don't get from Ebbs, that hurried Arsenal along and stopped them building. You can see what he did. But yeah, that wasn't an instinctive finish, was it? And you get, you're rather, if it falls to generally one of our front players, you'd expect us to score there.
Yeah, definitely. And then at the time, it was getting quite late towards the end of the game, and Henderson pulls off an incredible save from Saka.
Unreal.
Aforementioned fantasy football. Saka's my captain in the double game week this week. Right, that's fucking 12 points he's cost me there, Henderson. The man I sing your praises. But no, it's an incredible reaction save to tip it over the bar, and ends up keeping us in the game, and we ultimately equalise, Hesketh, with, this is the second away game in a row that I've gone with you, where I must seem like a fucking genius.
Nostradamus, yeah, God, yeah. So for people who didn't listen a couple of weeks ago, why didn't you listen a couple of weeks ago? Obviously, for new listeners, at Southampton, basically when I said there's no way we're going to score, we could play for another week and we wouldn't score, Terence predicted we definitely will. They're shit. They'll balls it up somehow, and we scored maybe a minute later. Yesterday at the game, Terence was like, "Oh, do you know what?" This was, I think, at half time. He said this just at the start of the second half. Maybe I'd fucking love it if we lobbed that keeper. And I obviously agreed, because I would also love it if we lobbed that keeper. Not thinking that less than 45 minutes later, I'd actually see us lobbing that keeper for a goal.
But you know what was great about it in the post match as well was Glasner talking about it and him seeing the other two opportunities that, Devaney didn't see it. Like, so I love that Glasner just even saw that and mentioned his post, because we was all like, shoot, and he didn't see it. Wharton tried it, but he instantly got blocked. But that was definitely flying towards goal and would have troubled the scorers for sure. But Mateta obviously again talks about it after Hesketh, that he's watching from the bench and he's seen him off his line, but the execution is incredible.
Oh yeah, I would give it another little nod to Daichi for the press.
Yeah,
because one thing that we've noticed since Glasner's been, you can't fail to notice it, is the players know when to press and when not to. And I think when Saliba's sort of dicking about with it to start with, we're holding our line, and then Kamada goes and Saliba shits the bed and basically passes it to JP. But yeah, JP takes one touch. Odegaard ends up on the floor, which is fun to see. But it's just like an instinctive, like putting backspin on the ball. He knows exactly where it's going. And like you say, it's great that he's seen it while sitting on the bench and he's like, all right, that's an option. But to then in a game do it with the technique, precision. I mean, I think he said in his interview, I saw it was going to hit the bar, so I just waited and then it went in. I mean, it was postish down, wasn't it? It was, you couldn't get goals that go in off the bar and the post look better anyway. That's objective fact.
To get two in one game as well.
Yeah. So like it pinging the underside of the bar and going in. Oh, brilliant. Like the atmosphere in our end, obviously, when that went in was superb, and hearing the boom and seeing that corner flag get kicked. Loved it.
Yeah, the boom is very loud as well. When you watch the highlights back, it is very loud. But Carl, what I would add to that finish is that he doesn't look.
Yeah.
Never looks at the goal.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Look, I have a love affair with Francesco Totti, the king of the lot.
Wow, this is highest praise indeed.
Whoa,
Totti-esque. He's picked that ball up. He has never looked at the goal. The first touch to get it onto his strong right foot without looking, he has stuffed his foot. That's not a chip. That's a proper little dinked lob. It has floated and kissed the crossbar and gone in. I think the first time he's looked, the ball is already over Raya to look at the goal. It is sensational. I put up in my stories, what's the better goal, the Ebbs or the JP goal? Because I think you can disrespect the Mateta goal by just thinking, the keeper's out and he's just hit it. It is, the execution is, it can't be better. It actually cannot be done any better. It's a fantastic goal.
Yeah, and I mean, there were some people even suggesting that Ebbs' goal was a fluke, which is ridiculous, especially when you see the steal of the technique. But they are two great goals. But I think the Mateta goal has just got so much, like, it's just perfect. It is perfect.
At our end. It's at our end.
Yeah.
He's kicking our corner flag. It's in a game where we've got something out of. We didn't think we were going to get something out of. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, keeps us in touch with Brighton as well. But do you think it's goal up there with goal of the season? Now, I think objectively speaking, Ebbs against Man City should probably be goal of the season, but can't be goal of the season in a loss, as we've long established on this podcast. So it's got to be up there as a shout. I can't. For me, it's just, we've got Carl one here comparing him to Totti. So
yeah. I mean, off the top of my head, I think that's got to be it. I mean, you could make an argument for both of those goals being in the conversation, but yeah, for me, like we've said, the technique, not knowing what he's doing, executing it so well at Arsenal. I mean, let's not forget we're taking the piss out of them for finishing second again. Finishing second's pretty good, so they're not a bad team. It's got to be up there. It's got to be up there.
And that's where the away end then get their torches out on their phones after Arsenal fans had been some pathetic attempt to light up the stadium with torches from their phones.
Like 20 people.
Yeah, and I fucking love football because within 5 yards of me, they started getting them out of the first thought that went through my head was, what is this, a fucking Coldplay concert? And within 3 seconds, the guy in the row behind went, "This ain't a fucking Coldplay concert." I'm like, it's like, and yeah, all our torches come out, and there's obviously been some great pictures. So if you was wondering what that was about on the Palace socials today, that was the reason why. And yeah, ultimately, we really rattled the Arsenal fans, it would appear, and none more so than that bloke on Arsenal Fan TV who wears all of the the entire club shop. I think he's the Arsenal version of Longy, Carl. That's what it is. But have a listen to this. I've only clipped a little bit of it, but fucking hell.
Relegation for the Crystal Palace fan. I'm sick and tired of these
relegation fodder.
Nobodies. The only thing that's making them relevant is Eddie and Eberechi. Get Crystal Palace, get out of the Premier League, and the fans go back to the Championship where you belong.
I mean, he ends up going on for 2.5 minutes of just how dare we mock them with second again, ole. And oh god, it's mental. It's bad though, isn't it, Carl, that Arsenal Fan TV continue to make a living out of preying on the mentally ill, basically.
Well, he's lucky somebody had nicked his hat and hung it off the top of the Homesdale. That's all I'm saying.
No, it wasn't that one.
I know.
I think that one's. I don't think he even lives in the country anymore. I think he's somewhere else. But there's clips of him losing his mind as well, slagging off Saliba left, right, and centre. I mean, he's got 2 errors that have led to a goal in the last 2 games, but I think outside of that, he's got 1 in 165 appearances for Arsenal, and he's slagging him off. It's like, give over. But yeah, it was it was fun to wind them up, and I always have this weird kind of trade-off with Arsenal where I don't mind them as a club, I just fucking hate their fans. All of them, even my mates who support them, just like the worst. They are the worst.
We got Tottenham in a couple of weeks.
Wow. But the result was almost ruined for me by Hesketh, unsurprisingly.
What?
When I'm on the train home and he sends through a link to the Palace tweet that says, "You're welcome, Liverpool."
Oh. Yeah, I think I wrote grim tweet or something on that. I didn't like that at all.
Just really straight away, just like fuzz. And then my Liverpool mates start messaging me like fucking gifs of dogs being patted on the head and stuff like that. It's like, thanks Palace. It's just like, fuck off. The fans don't think this. And I was like, your official Twitter account thinks it. I'm like, it's run by a fucking Millwall fan, believe it or not. I assume you're not a fan, Carl.
No, I was I think, as I said to you boys, and I was with Liverpool today, and I got a WhatsApp beforehand the game saying good luck, and I was like, you don't actually mean that either. You would hate us to win it and you to win the title with you playing. You want to win it at Anfield at that. I mean, I don't think Palace just didn't need to say anything. So yeah, definitely not my. Yeah, can we live on ourselves having had played well and all that? Don't have to be that type of tweet for likes and all of that just to appease some Liverpool fans and go viral.
Yeah. Okay, but before we move off the Arsenal game, his name's already been mentioned several times throughout the piece, Carl. Daichi Kamada has arrived, would be fair to say. Yeah.
Look, I mean, a week or so ago, we came out of Man City and going, he's just got to learn, right? He's undoubtedly improving, but every now and then he does something stupid. That was a properly complete performance. Okay, you can't have any doubt in why Glasner is very happy to go put him in. And you think of the progression from that performance there to the one, say, up at Goodison, earlier in the season. That's how far he's improved. But he actually started to dictate. And you think they're quite often overloading us in midfield. And he was a consistent for the whole 90 minutes. We weren't outplayed in midfield. There was you're not looking at this going, God, we were bullied by Odegaard or Rice or Partey in any which way. I mean, he was back to what Hesketh said. He pressed exceptionally well. He passed exceptionally well. He was always available. If I could have had one extra wish from it all, I wish now he'd start shooting, because he has 2 or 3 times he got into the right place whereby actually he could just get it out of his feet and have a dig, and he hasn't. He's laid in a pass, and the pass has been fine. But that's, I think, the next bit that needs to come. But yeah, he's arrived. He's properly arrived.
Yeah, just that little bit of the final bit of confidence puzzle piece in play for him to start letting those shots fly, I think. And no better place to do it on Saturday against a team he's already done it against this season. So stick another one against them in the cup, mate. That'll do.
We'll get the statue ready. I think obviously Kamada's had a great game. I think if we ever have to really question how good Danny Munoz is, last night was another way of showing it. Did Martinelli, MLS, Lewis Skelly, they have been they've terrorised some teams this season. Lewis Skelly's in incredible form. Munoz literally not only kept them tight, actually got them reversing for half of the second half. So I know we all know how great he is, but that really showed it against an elite team. So that was great to see as well.
Yeah, great that we got him signed up to a new contract as well. Like, just that, positive that even if we do end up losing him, it's not going to be for a nominal fee now or anything like that. But you got to think that teams are going to be looking at him. You just have to think it for the way he's played since arriving with us. Just incredible, really. Yeah, absolutely love him. Right, so this week, well, not this week. This is the weirdest thing ever, and I know a lot of people don't like Jake Humphrey. I don't know enough about him really I've never looked into him that much. I seem to remember him getting loads of abuse about always talking about not having GCSEs or something. But his high performance podcast, Parish has been on it, and now I guess he's facilitated Glasner being on it. But weirdly, it's released on Monday, which is just so bizarre. But they have released snippets of it. I've got one here to play, and just pretty much sums up why I love Oliver Glasner, really.
Winning at Fulham in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. Yeah, I could feel it as soon as I entered the pitch. It's a special atmosphere, because 4 or 5 weeks before we played in the league, it was a great atmosphere as well. But here it was from both sides, from Fulham and from our supporters. It was something special. Yeah, I really at Fulham we have to walk across the pitch. I sat there and I said to my assistants, that's why I love football. Yeah, it was this tough 15 minutes. Yeah, and then we were winning the game, and afterwards, I could see the players celebrating in front of the fans. You are looking into the faces of the fans. Everybody's happy, smiling. I don't know, 6-year-old kids, 86-year-old grandmothers and granddads, having. These moments, and I could see what we did made so many people happy. Yeah, and this is what I love.
Yeah, just gets it. Fucking love him, and I'm buzzing for him to see us at Wembley on Saturday, because we know what we put on at Wembley when we go there, and I'm sure he's gonna love it.
We need to get down Covent Garden beforehand.
Well, that's teed me up lovely there. It was like you knew, Carl. So what you're doing on Saturday? What's your pre-match plans?
I did do Covent Garden last time. I'm actually not going to do it this time. I loved it. I loved the takeover and all of that. But last time we did it, we lost. And we're winning this one, so I'm going to do something different this time. So yeah, literally just going to a pub that I use for England. We got 25, 30 of us in there. More are welcome, but yeah, we're there. Grab a few drinks and jump on the train, and probably look to get into Wembley about 4:15, 4:30ish.
Yeah, so I think we got what side of the stadium is it? The west side we're on.
Yeah.
So pubs are the infamous Green Man, Crystals no less, the Arch, Station 31, the Corner House, JJ Moons, the Liquor Station, Black Sheep, the White Horse 66 Bar, West Village Fan Zone, and La Regina. And of course, Covent Garden from 12 o'clock onwards is the meet. If you want to get down there and get pissed up in the square and sing some songs, get covered in smoke and all of that. What's your plans, Hesketh?
Yeah, similar to Carl, not doing Covent Garden. If we get to the final, different story. I think a few of us are going for a drink around Farringdon, because a few of my group sort of know a few nice pubs around there, and it's fairly easy to get from there to the ground. And what I'm like, the idea of missing kickoff at the best of times means I usually leave 2 hours before kickoff to get anywhere. So I'm sure we'll be near the ground in very good time.
Lovely. Unfortunately, I am doing what I did prior to the Chelsea semi-final. Yeah, I know, but I think it's a little bit small this time. But Dot Brown, Ben Bailey Smith he lives not too far from the stadium, so we just go round the Heath, sticks on food. Means you only have to pay a £5 for six tins. Makes a big old saving on the day, better than going around and spending loads on pints. So yeah, probably mix it up for the final, I would imagine. But it's just nice to be. I think on the big days you want to be with your people, don't you? Like that's just the people you go with all the time, your family and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's how I really enjoy it on those days. Dad will be there, sister will be there, all that kind of stuff, and it's just nice to soak it all in, regardless of what will then go on to happen in the game. But hopefully it will be a win this time. Are you worried, Carl? We obviously, Villa have been in fantastic form since we tanked them 4-1 in the league. Barely lost a game, but arguments that they could be a little bit crestfallen after what's happened in the last couple of games to them.
No, probably. Look, I'm more worried about us, and now I'm not worried about us. I did City, I did Newcastle, and we looked fragile. Maxence didn't look like Maxence. We looked like we could leak goals. We weren't creating. We weren't brave passing it forward. And suddenly JP looked a little bit tired. And, I saw something totally different on last night, on Wednesday night, that really excited me. And we can give anybody a game. I suspect them getting dicked in the last in injury time versus City doesn't overly help them, but their fans are still singing about Wembley. I was listening to a bit of the commentary, and you could hear them in the background singing about Wembley. They'll have 30-odd thousand there. It's not like Villa are there every week. Their players would be up for it. So yeah, I don't think that has any impact on it. I think it may well have been different. It would have been different if they were just about to play Arsenal in the semi-finals of the Champions League 2-3 days later. I think that is a different change to it, but no, they've not got a midweek. This would be all two teams playing a semi-final.
Okay, Hesketh, dampen our spirits a little bit.
Well, I can do that. I bet my only thing. So we've had a lot of good results against him in the last few games. Knocked him out of the other cup. Pumped him at Selhurst a couple of times. I think it's going to be very hard. I think people who think we've got the number. Emery's a very good coach. I'm a bit annoyed that he tried the will copy Palace and it backfired massively already, because it would be funny if he did that in the cup. But they've got a very good manager. They've got a lot of good players. They were able to rest some players against Man City. They've got a lot of pace. They're a dangerous team. I'd love to think that we have got their number, but I think this is in itself its own game. Both clubs have everything to play for, really. You know, like Cole said, they don't get to Wembley and get in cup finals too often. We obviously don't either. My instinct is that we won't make the final. And I think you both knew that I was going to say that. But obviously, I will fucking love it if we do.
That first goal is going to be massively important, though, isn't it? That is the first. Yeah. If we get the first goal and we can dictate play, and they can't sit there with Martinez with the ball at his feet for 15 minutes at a time, waiting to get us out of our shape. If we can get the first goal, then look, we're winning. We're winning.
Yeah, I was praying for a Martinez groin strain against City, and our good old friend Robin Olsen be back in goal.
See him warming up at half time again. We know we're all right.
Exactly right. So we'll be back next week. Pod hopefully talking about victory and an upcoming FA Cup final, and we'll be also eventually in that pod building you up to Forest at home, which, Carl, is going to be a rehearsal for the cup final, right? And
yeah.
If it is, you've done some math and it's not mathing.
Yeah, here you go. Look, everybody who's listening to the pod can now live the nightmare that I had. True story. Around about 4 a.m. on Tuesday morning, out of nowhere, the subconscious had been working away, and I went, on Saturday, we are beating Villa and making the cup final. So far, this dream that I've got in my head is good. On the Sunday, Villa are beating Man City. Forest are beating Man City. So we have got Palace Forest final. That all sounds brilliant, doesn't it? Now, this is where the plot twist comes in and my dream turns into a nightmare. 2 weeks before the final, Dean Henderson gets injured. Matt Turner can't play against Forest because he's a Forest player, and we're now playing the final with Remy Matthews in goal. That, my friends, is the nightmare that I'm going to sit there between us making the final and Forest being in it and the actual game, worried that Dean Henderson's going to break something. So, and we've got Remy Matthews in goal.
Jesus, you've out Hesketh.
Could you imagine that? We go for a second FA Cup final appearance in a row from Wayne Hennessy to Remy Matthews.
Jesus Christ.
Do you know what? Talking about Remy Matthews, that wasn't the contract news we was expecting to be announced this week. When Glasner teased that there might be some more announcements, Remy Matthews wasn't my my card that I was hoping for, to be honest. But hey, look, all that's left to say really is everyone have a great day on Saturday. Hopefully the result goes the way we want, but regardless of if it does or not, it's a big day for us. So go out there, enjoy yourselves, don't do anything stupid, live the day. Hopefully the weather gets a little bit better than the forecast suggests, and we can all just have a great day out in the sunshine in Albert's neck of the woods. and who knows, Albert might be back next week to discuss the victory over Aston Villa. But enjoy it. Carl, thanks for standing in again, sir. Really appreciate it.
Cheers, T. Cheers, Hesketh.
Hesketh, deep breaths. Deep breaths will get you through.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening. Until next time, up the Palace.